What's cracking, yo? Welcome back to Boo TV. Appreciate you for stopping in. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and let's get into the topic for today. Recently on Rob Parker and Chris Brousard's show, The Odd Couple, they had a segment talking about LeBron James, but the fact that he feels like, and more so the Bronsexuals and extreme LeBron fans, feels like this guy should be entitled to playing with as many all-star, superstar caliber players and entitled to championships. And it's funny because I was going to do a video talking about the absurdity of all that, and then I saw that they were talking about it, so I figured we watch their segment and then I talk about it. So let's check out the video clip here.
They and some of this isn't
and Chris,
always
here's the
LeBron.
record. I got it. They're 11-13 this season together. They're under
that's
500.
Surprising. That's
LeBron
surprising,
James.
and that speaks to where people look at LeBron's numbers and say, "Wow, he's just as good as he always has been." No, there's no way this would be happening with LeBron James in his prime because he was great defensively.
He would be 20 and 8 if it was the other or something like that. There's no way he would be it. Right, it wouldn't be 11. Right. Last year he averaged 30 points. They didn't even make the play-in.
Right.
Think about that.
Right. Well, LeBron, and it's not always on him. I mean, he did put out some tweets when Kyrie was free, and then even the maybe it's me tweet. Now, he's saying that was, based
BS.
on him looking in the mirror. Yeah, I'm not going to call the guy a liar.
Rob
but
G was sick, though, that they didn't get him.
It seemed like it was related to Kyrie and them not getting him. But I'm going to say this, and again, it's not always on LeBron, but it is a lot of people in the media pushing this idea that LeBron, oh my God, what a shame he doesn't have more help.
It's a shame that he doesn't get Kyrie. This doesn't make any sense. He should have the Kyrie, and he should have a chance to win more championships. They're wasting his time in L.A. What are they doing?
We have gone from player empowerment to player entitlement. What the first thing we heard after Kyrie wants to be traded? What about Durant? Should Durant ask? No. How about playing for your contract?
He got a 4-year deal. This is the first year of a 4-year extension.
Right.
What? And they were rolling. You remember when Kyrie was suspended, Chris?
Yes.
Durant had that team rolling.
Yes.
They were winning.
I mean, no, we talked about this earlier, Rob, with Michael Jordan. And now, granted, he was older. He was about close to LeBron's age, slightly older than LeBron is right now. When he was in Washington, and he was playing what? Playing at an all-star level, not Jordan-esque, but at an all-star level.
He was.
I don't remember hearing anybody talk about, oh, they're wasting Michael Jordan's last few years.
Nope.
They need to go get him help, or why don't they trade him to the Spurs or trade him to, some team where he can win a championship? There was none of that, and it's not that I would love it if LeBron could compete for a championship, but this notion that you're entitled to it. It's foul. It's false.
I agree, and I think that's the biggest issue that people have is of all the players, when you go back and you look at LeBron and you look at Jordan, Chris, it ain't even close to talent of players that LeBron has played with compared to Michael Jordan.
LeBron's played with 2 number 1 draft picks, Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving. Jordan never played with a number 1 draft pick.
That's right there. That's 2
or
players.
really even close.
And
Scottie Pippen was 8th pick, I think.
When you go look at it and put those rosters together, but I don't like it's a birthright. Is it a birthright that LeBron James should always have a stacked deck? Like that's what they want.
I don't. And
if he doesn't
it's
have
not even always on LeBron, but it's this media narrative. I agree with you. Like what? Where does this come from?
It's not good enough to have AD and Chris. AD, most players would love to have a guy of that caliber with them. And then he has Westbrook, who's a future Hall of Famer, a top 75 player.
And I get top 75
players.
You got
2 top 75. And last year, Carmelo was with them. I'm not saying he's at the end, but you know what I mean.
But Westbrook isn't as gone or washed as Melo was.
Right. But
you got 2 top 75 players. The only top 10 player in the league with a top 10 teammate. If LeBron should be frustrated, it's for this. Here's who he should be frustrated.
Anthony Davis.
Listen, I am Chris Broussard and Rob Parker be saying some off the wall stuff that I usually don't agree with, especially Rob Parker sometimes. But right here, I 1,000,000 a bagajillion brilliant quintillion agree with everything they just said, and I could not have said it better myself. And I mentioned LeBron, and I said more so the Bronsexuals, the LeBron extremists, who are also media members. A lot of these media members here are associated with Clutch Sports, are out here licking LeBron's asshole. They are Bronsexuals themselves. This notion that LeBron has to have everybody, that he is entitled to a championship. If they're not winning, you got to get him some more all-star help, rather than the fact that he has all-star help, but they're just not getting the job done. You know what I had to get a guy tell me in the comment section one time? Because the super team, the Heatles, lost to the Dallas Mavericks, which the Dallas Mavericks' only superstar all-star they had was Dirk Nowitzki, and we all know who the Miami Heat were. He said, well, since the Miami Heat lost to the Dallas Mavericks, then that proves that the Miami Heat weren't a super team. I said, what? Because you don't get the job done and underachieve and fail to show up and fail to perform, and the other team outplays you, doesn't necessarily mean you're not a super team, because they weren't and they beat you. I couldn't believe somebody said that to me. The gall of these Bronsexuals sometimes. But anyway, I digress. They nailed it. And then when they brought up this season, everybody, the Bronsexuals are screaming, kicking, crying that the Lakers didn't get Kyrie Irving. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? How many teams in the league right now actually have 3 perennial all-stars on their team? Are there any really big threes out right now? If not, there's not many. I can't think of any off the top of my head. 3 perennial all-stars on a Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis level at that. At that. You got Russell Westbrook, you got LeBron, you got Anthony Davis, and Bronsexuals and LeBron James too, and media members. You're still not happy, right? You're still not happy. LeBron, you handpicked. You wanted Russell Westbrook. Now, LeBron, you're a very smart person. You're one of the greatest basketball players of all time. They generally say you're one of the smartest basketball players of all time. Don't they say that? LeBron, what made you think that Russell Westbrook would be a good fit with you, considering that you guys are pretty much do a lot of the same things, though you may do some things a little bit better and he may do some things a little bit better. But generally, you guys both do the same. What made you think that would be a great fit? Now, granted, they have done some things to make it work better when you guys are on the floor together now, being you come off the ball more and let Russ do more of the decision-making and passing and controlling the offense, because he can't shoot as good as you and he can't play as good off the ball as you. So now it's a little bit better than it was last season and the beginning of this season, granted, but still not the best fit in the world. But LeBron, I knew that. I'm not nearly as smart as you when it comes to basketball. What made you think that was a good idea? And I understand they were like, well, it's for when LeBron James is out, they need somebody that can orchestrate the offense. Well, that's not really true, because when LeBron James is out, Russ is still coming off the bench and not getting very many minutes. So what are we doing here, man? What are we doing here? You got 3 all-stars. And yes, Russell Westbrook is still an all-star. He's taking a lesser role and fighting a ridiculous media narrative that are trying to paint Russ out to be some type of garbage player when he's not. Russell Westbrook is still an all-star. Don't get it twisted. But he's taking a lesser role as a third option. Just like what happened to Chris Bosh and Kevin Love. Don't get it twisted. Please. You already got a big 3. And you are sitting here tweeting, sending out cryptic tweets and all this and that, this point, this and that. Brother, you got more than enough. Figure it out and get the job done. Even when you and Anthony, and I'm not even going to say it's all about injuries. because you guys have played on the court together and still be losing in those games. So I don't want to hear it. Next, LeBron James, more than anybody I can think in the league, has had the opportunity to play with so many all-star and elite level players. And it's still not enough. They nailed it. They nailed it. They nailed it. They nailed it. They absolutely nailed it. And then Bronsexuals and the media members, some of them are now trying to say that the Miami Heat weren't a super team. That Cleveland Cavaliers team the second time around wasn't a super team. What? What? LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh, all in their prime. Wade was not completely out of his prime yet. People like to say that. He was not. He was still a top 10 player at the time. Wade was. Cut it out. Maybe a little bit off his prime, but still top 10 player. Cut it out. And Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, and Kevin Love, those weren't super teams. And I'm not even counting I'm not even counting the Carmelo Anthonys, the Ray Allens, because they weren't in their prime no more. I'm not counting, yes, those were top 75 players. Yes, those were Hall of Famers. But LeBron didn't play with these guys when they were in peak form. The Melos, the Ray Allens, the Dwight Howards. So I'm not even counting that. See, I'm a fair person. People just got here to bash. I'm not bashing LeBron. I'm being fair. I'm not even counting that like, oh, he played with Carmelo Anthony, Russell Westbrook, Dwight Howard, and Anthony Davis all on the same team. Yeah, but Dwight was a shell of himself, more or less. Melo wasn't Melo anymore. Ray Allen was good, but it wasn't prime Ray Allen. I mean, come on. I'm not one of those people saying things like that, right? Same thing with the 2004 Lakers. You talking about playing with the fossils of Karl Malone and Gary Payton, the remnants of Karl Malone and Gary Payton on that 2004 Lakers squad? Get out of here. It's the names, their household names. Now they're being like super team, but they were clearly far off their prime. Karl Malone literally retired the year after that. What are we talking about? Though he played good, but come on, wasn't no all-star player by any means. Now, I can't agree more with everything they said. When you go back to all the other players, they didn't play with two players of that caliber a lot of the times, and forced their own destiny. Now I get it. You had the teams before there was free agency. You're kind of stuck with the players you had, and they built dynasties with these players, and players built up their name on that franchise, the Celtics, the Lakers, things of that nature. So, definitely like after free agency, or once free agency started, man, ain't nobody. And people like they said, people weren't clamoring when Michael Jordan, like he said, was on the Wizards, and he was one of the best players in the league before he got hurt, especially that first year. Michael Jordan was averaging like 25, 5, and 5. There were only two players. The numbers might be a little bit off. I'm trying to go off memory. But it was something along the lines of Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan were the only, 2001, 2002 season. Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan were the only players that were averaging at least 25, 5, and 5 at a minimum. And Michael Jordan was on a mean streak up until he hurt his knee, and then he never got back to that level again. But Mike was playing goddamn good, and carrying a horrible Wizards roster, garbage Wizards roster. But nobody was walking around with pitchforks and torches, clamoring for Michael Jordan to get some more help, get some more all-stars around him, because he's entitled to it. Because he deserves the championship. He deserves to play with the All-Stars. This championship is his. It is nobody else's. Get him help. He is entitled to it. Nobody was doing that. Nobody was doing that for Kobe after Shaq left. Nobody. And nobody. You know what Kobe said? Kobe said, I just need one. Just give me one guy. Give me one guy. It doesn't got to be a top 5 player. Just give me one guy and we'll make it work. What happened? Got Pau Gasol. Got his one guy, it was off to the races. 3 straight finals appearances, went back to back. That's all he needed. He didn't need Kevin Garnett and Tim Duncan and Allen Iverson and Tracy McGrady. Well, Tracy was still pretty good at that time. But yeah, just give me one guy. Fill me in with some decent quality role players. We'll fill in the gaps here and there. We'll figure it out. Come on, man. What are we talking about, bro? Even the Chicago Bulls teams, man. Like they said, Pippen wasn't no top 3, top 4, top 5 player. He was an all-star and he was a great player, but that's all Mike needed. It was off to the races. Off to the races. But even with the Bulls, man, even before they got Scotty and Scotty grew into an all-star, nobody was clamoring like Michael Jordan was entitled to championships. He just took the blame for it. Well, why can't Mike do it? Why can't Mike pull through with this roster? Why can't Mike do it? Oh, he's just a scoring machine. He doesn't make people better. Blah, 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 blah. That was the narrative against Michael Jordan. It wasn't, get this man help now, get him all-stars. Come on, man. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? But for LeBron James, more than anybody, this is the narrative that runs with him, with the media and the Bronsexuals. And even LeBron, to a degree, expects it, with his cryptic tweets and everything. Remember when Charles Barkley was like, when he was complaining, Cavs were like the number 1 seed, and he was saying they were too top heavy, blah, 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 this, that, and the third. And Barkley was like, what do you say? What do you don't want to, what Chuck say? Something like, you can't have all the players, right? You don't want to work for it. You want it to be that easy. It was something along those lines. I don't remember what he said verbatim, but yeah. And Chuck was right. I can't believe it. This entitlement, for lack of a better word, entitle. Hey, want the title? This entitlement, and people sit here really just believe that he's entitled to this championship, and these teams need to bend over backwards and take it up the booty hole to make sure you get LeBron James what he wants. And even when you get him what he wants and it doesn't work out, you're going to get the blame for it. You're going to get the blame for it. Even though LeBron's sometimes handpicking these players, it doesn't work out, and then now he's not happy. LeBron, this is what you wanted. These are the players that you said you wanted to play with, but it's not working out. And now you're unhappy. Be unhappy with yourself, nigga. Be unhappy with yourself. You're lucky we bent over backwards to get you what you wanted, because we trust your decision making and basketball IQ and know what you need to run a team. So we're gonna do it for you, and then we're gonna get the blame for it, and then you're probably gonna leave us high and dry and go to another team, and now we have to rebuild. It seems to be the trend to a degree. To a degree. Listen. It's unbelievable. And you got, meanwhile, other players that are just as good as LeBron, or some of them better now given his age, or around the same talent pool of LeBron James. People aren't clamoring for them the way they clamor for Bron when he already has all-star pieces. Dude already got Anthony Davis. And I don't want to hear the bullshit about, oh, he's hurt, because we knew that going. If you thought you were going to trade for Anthony Davis and he was going to stay healthy, you're fucking stupid. Like, we knew this was Anthony Davis's MO. LeBron, you knew that too. You knew he's been injury prone his whole career, so what made you think would be any different? What made you think would be any different? So I assume you take that into calculations when you were figuring this whole thing out, factoring in Anthony Davis's availability or inavailability. I don't know. I don't know. Make it make sense to me. Make it make sense. They nailed it, man. I usually don't agree with a lot of things these guys say, but yeah, I gotta call it when I see it, and they nailed that segment. And that's where LeBron James loses some points with me, is this type of stuff here. It blows my mind, dude. It blows my mind. How many people do you need? How many people do you want? When is enough enough? Just go get the goddamn job done. Just go get it done. No more excuse. No more excuses. It's always an excuse with LeBron James. It's almost like he doesn't want to take accountability for a lot of things. Always some kind of stupid excuse, whether it's being tweeted, whether it's in an interview, whether he says it, whether he shows up with a cast on his arm after the end of the series or cast on his hand, whatever the case may be. Come on, man, what are we talking about, bro? Stop. Just live up to losses, take accountability, say I'll try hard to get better next time. Even that horrible season they had last year, he had an excuse for that season. And then he said he didn't think that season was a failure or something along those lines. He didn't think it was a failure. Something along those lines. I was like, what? Dog. Blows my mind. Yeah, the media members out here, Jock and Bronsexuals. Y'all gotta stop this, man. Y'all gotta stop this. If LeBron's losing and he's not winning, even though he already has people, you guys are just irate, rabid out here, rabid squirrels, demanding that the situation be fixed because he deserves the championship. He deserves it. He deserves to be contending for a title. Excuse me? Excuse me? What? He deserves it. Even when Kobe Bryant was on his last legs after an Achilles tear, a broken knee and broken shoulder, he wasn't even getting like demands like that from like public outcry. Come on, man. What are we talking about? Listen, I'm done ranting. I've probably repeated myself over again, but I just got to nail it into the head. Just got to nail it. But that's all I got to say, man. You guys let me know what you think about that. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that goddamn bell. And I appreciate you for stopping in. Hit the dislike button if you hate me and you don't like what I said. Just go ahead, hit that dislike button for me. Do it now. Do it now. I'll catch you guys on the next one. We out, baby.